Russia has just deployed a convoy stretching 40 miles full of tanks and military equipment, reaching the outskirts of the Ukrainian capital. U.S. officials are warning that Russia is going to destroy Kiev as a second wave of troops will overwhelm the resistance. Meanwhile, gas prices are surging to the highest levels since 2014, as Biden prepares for a State of the Union address, with over 60% of Americans saying he has not kept his promises. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we've got a lot to talk about. Take a look at the following story. The world turns its back on Russia. The astonishing moment. Diplomats walk out as the Kremlin minister tells the disarmament conference Russia was forced to invade Ukraine to stop them from getting nuclear weapons. There was this whole big political show during the Geneva's conference where the Ukraine prime minister said the reason we went into Ukraine was because we don't want them getting nuclear bombs, aka we don't want them to join NATO, we don't want them to join the EU, we don't want America putting military bases in Ukraine and putting in nukes. Oh, and then all these diplomats storm out of the room. What a big show. But let me tell you what's really happening right now. While all these politicians are dancing around on social media and pulling these stunts, Russia is sending over 40 miles of reinforcements, military vehicles, supplies, ammunitions, and missiles. My friends, Russia is going to take Kiev. But we're going to talk about all that and more, but before we do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for updates for future content, and if you like these videos, please share them with your family and friends and on social media. And now, a word from our sponsor. Introducing Webull. Webull is a cryptocurrency and trading app where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency and stocks. Open an account with Webull and deposit any amount of money, and you could get up to 3 free stocks worth all the way up to $3,300. Folks, it's basically free money. There's also a $5 crypto bonus when you make your first cryptocurrency trade. Join Webull today and get your 3 free stocks by clicking the link down below. And we're back. Okay, I just want to take a moment here to thank everyone who has shown their support. I am humbled. I am deeply appreciative. This is a very stressful time for me. I just want to make it clear for those who may not understand. My situation is still bad. It's just less bad. I'm doing what I can to make it work. But your support of this channel and of myself it's been heartwarming. It's been everything to me. And it's because of the audience, of people like you, that I'm even able to make videos at all. So thank you everyone who's been reaching out, who's been supporting the channel, who's been trying to help out. Trust me, it has been a great help and I'm doing everything I can to make things work. Anyways, let's get to the content, folks. Here on the Daily Mail, Russian convoy stretching 40 miles reaches the outskirts of the Ukrainian capital. U.S. officials warn of ugly urban warfare in Kiev and predict a second wave of troops that will overwhelm the resistance in the country as missile targets government building in Kharkiv. So a convoy of Russian tanks and armored vehicles 40 miles long is currently advancing on Kiev, having set out from Belarus in the north. The convoy left southern Belarus earlier on Monday and was initially believed to be 17 miles long, but the estimate has since been revised and expanded. There's been a lot of stories going around about Russia right now that are simply, how do I put this? They're not true. There's a bunch of people claiming that Russia is just going around targeting civilians and that there's been a massive wave of like collateral damage and devastation and that Russia is just out to get those poor civilians. Now, I understand. In a war, there is collateral damage. There are civilians who will get caught up in the crossfire. But Russia is not targeting civilians. This is a complete myth. In a lot of ways, Russia is actually playing with kitty gloves right now. They're not trying to target civilians. They're targeting military structures and bases, and they're trying not to attack civilians. See, this is what I hate about wartime propaganda. There's so many stories right now that are so far beyond the realm of plausibility that you don't know what's real and what's not. So when I see stories on Fox News saying that Russia is exclusively aiming at civilians, I think that it's simply not true. The story is that in Kharkiv, the Russian government bombed a administrative government building. The people working there were technically civil servants, So you can call them civilians since they're technically not in the military, but they are in the government. I feel like there's a difference between a civil servant and a civilian, but that's semantics. You can say that, they were all civilians. But Russia wasn't aiming at an apartment complex. They were aiming at a government building. So you see the way this war is being shown by the media. They're not going to tell you what's actually going on. They're going to tell you what they want you to believe. So no, I don't believe that Russia is actually going after civilians exclusively. They're going after strategic targets. And I've seen no evidence for a lot of the claims. Now, I'm not defending Russia. I'm just trying to state the facts. Here's the biggest fact. There's a lot of people right now who say that the EU is going to crush Russia. Russia is losing. The ruble is going to zero.
Zero. When it comes out, zero.
And their economy is crumbling. Putin and the Russians are losers. This is a narrative that the media is saying. But it's time for a reality check. Check out this story on the Daily Mail. This is probably the most important story, and yet it only has 135 comments. Let's read. Europe is financing Putin's invasion of the Ukraine after the West's delusional green energy policies left them totally reliant on Russian oil and gas, writes Michael Schellenberger. Can I get a clap for this? There are people out there who actually believe that the EU and NATO and a lot of these European countries are crushing Russia and are going to just beat Russia up. There's a lot of people out there who believe that Russia is going to fail because the EU will turn against them and they will totally adopt the Ukraine. And then there will be nothing that evil man Putin can do. Who supplies the oil and natural gas to most of Europe? Is it a man named Vladimir Putin? Germany is a good example. Germany is a member of the EU. In fact, many people say that Germany basically controls the EU. Did you know that recently, in order to fight climate change, Germany shut down its nuclear power plants? They are almost entirely reliant on Russia's natural oil and gas. Do you really think that Germany at the end of the day, is going to stand against Russia? No, they will bend the knee. And if Germany controls the EU will bend the knee. You see, I have a very different conclusion to what the media and the politicians are saying. I think Russia is going to win this war. I think he is winning this war. There was recently a news story that's causing a bit of a stir when the leader of Belarus, Lukashenko, accidentally revealed that Moldova may be invaded next. So not just Kiev, but also Moldova. Further invasion of Ukraine. And it's making a lot of people ask, is Russia going to try to take all of Ukraine? Well, the world may be leaving him no choice. Think about it. What did you think was going to happen when you banned Russia, an entire nation, from SWIFT? What did you think was going to happen when the internet started canceling Russians online, shutting down their accounts, not letting them get paid, canceling them on the internet? Take a look at this story on Business Insider. Facebook demotes Russian state media across its platforms worldwide. Take a look at this tweet from Disclose TV. Just in. YouTube blocks Russian outlets RT and Sputnik across Europe effective immediately. The world right now is trying to cancel an entire nation, and Russians are being discriminated against. I'm not talking about Russians in Russia, I'm talking about Russians in general. There are literally Russians on Facebook who don't even live in Russia, who just have a Russian passport, and they are being censored. There's stories about Russians being harassed, being attacked in the street. This is the kind of xenophobia and just sheer wartime propaganda and hysteria that you see during a major conflict. So YouTube is blocking legitimate news outlets. Whether you like them or not, Reuters, the RT, they're a legitimate news source. And I gotta tell you, they are more balanced than CNN. They are more factual than sometimes Fox. So let me get this straight. The only narrative that we're allowed to see is a narrative presented by the mainstream media, because they've never lied to us before. Are you crazy? I believe everything CNN tells me. But I want to take us to our last story of the day. Biden is going to give his State of the Union address. Many people think it's going to be a completely hilarious joke. I agree. Here in The Independent, Biden heads into the State of the Union as 60% of Americans say he has not kept his promises. Major issues on Americans' minds are rampant inflation and the highest oil prices in years. The country is falling apart. Russia is steadily surrounding the Ukraine and winning the war. Meanwhile, Western nations are talking about shutting down oil imports from Russia. This is what they are doing, my friends. We're gonna stop getting oil from Russia because we want to hurt Russia. Yeah, gasoline has just doubled in price, but small price to pay for hurting Russia. Biden's numbers and approval ratings are already at rock bottom. Oil prices are already skyrocketing, and they're talking about shutting down oil imports from Russia. Do you understand how insane all of this is? They are destroying the world, all to hurt Russia. That's all they care about. They don't care if gas prices triple. They don't care if inflation goes out of control. They will spend trillions of dollars on war, ultimately on a war they probably can't win. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Biden is going to give an embarrassing State of the Union address. It's going to solve nothing. It's going to make every problem worse. And Putin is not going to back down. The war is escalating. And I think, my friends, that we're in World War III. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know by commenting down below in the comment section. As always, support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar, as this channel is currently supported by viewers like you. I want to thank everyone once again for their tremendous support, their kind words. It means everything to me. You have no idea. And you really are helping me out during this tough time. So thank you. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. I'll see you all next time.
0.